All right, folks, have you ever had one of those days where you find a penny on the ground and think, not worth bending over for? Well, after today's video, you might want to rethink that. Because there's a 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny floating around out there that's worth, get this, $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single cent that could turn you into a millionaire. So grab your change jar, dump it on the table, and let's get hunting. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was sorting through my old coins, hoping to find something special. My wife walks in and says, "Why are you staring at pennies like they owe you money?" And I told her, because one of these just might. She laughed, but joke's on her. I found a rare coin that sold for a decent chunk of change. And ever since then, I've been on the hunt for more. So what's the deal with this 1988 penny? Why is it worth so much? Most pennies from 1988 should have a little letter below the date, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a rare batch was accidentally made without any mint mark at all. This happened because of a mix-up at the Philadelphia Mint, where they used an experimental die that wasn't meant for circulation. Only a handful of these pennies have ever been found, making them incredibly rare. Coin collectors love rare mistakes, especially when the government goofs up. The scarcity of this penny, combined with collector demand, has driven the price sky high. A pristine, uncirculated version was recently sold for an eye-popping $1.2 million at an auction. That's more than some Lamborghinis. Any 1988 pennies you have, and inspect them under good lighting. Look at the area below the date. If there's no D or S mint mark, you just might have hit the jackpot. It's best to get it verified by a professional coin grader. You don't want to list it for a few bucks and later find out it was worth a fortune. If you think you've got one, don't just toss it on eBay for a quick sale. Take it to a numismatic expert or an auction house. Sites like Heritage Auctions and PCGS Coin Facts can help you verify and sell it for the best price. Some coin dealers might try to lowball you, so do your research before making a deal. So next time you get a handful of change at the store, don't just stuff it in your pocket and forget about it. That little copper coin could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Imagine buying a house or retiring early, all thanks to a lucky penny. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting rare coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin collecting strategies and hidden treasures to share, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Now go check those pennies, and let me know in the comments if you find anything cool. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where we dig through our pockets and bankrolls to find hidden treasures. Today, we're talking about a penny, a plain old, everyday, sitting in your couch cushion, probably at the bottom of your laundry machine kind of penny. But hold on to your hats, because this one is worth $1.3 million. Yep, that's right. A single 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has turned an everyday coin collector into a millionaire. Imagine finding that in your pocket change instead of lint and a questionable breath mint. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found an old wheat penny in my grandfather's change jar. I got all excited, thinking I hit the jackpot. Turns out, it was worth about 3 cents. But that moment ignited my passion for coin collecting. And here I am today, helping you find the real treasures hiding in plain sight. So, let's get into it. All right, let's break this down. First things first, what makes this 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special? I mean, it looks just like any other penny, right? But here's the deal. This particular coin wasn't supposed to exist. Most pennies from 1977 were struck at either the Denver Mint, which has a little D below the date, or the San Francisco Mint, which has an S. But this rare gem? No mint mark. It's a mystery that has stumped collectors for years, and when an extremely rare error like this happens, the value skyrockets. Let's talk about the value. The current market price for this one-of-a-kind coin sits at a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Now, you might be thinking, how did a single penny get to be worth more than my house? Well, it's all about rarity, demand, and the right collectors willing to drop serious cash for history in the palm of their hands. Double, triple check. If you see a D or an S, keep looking. The closer to uncirculated, the better. If your penny looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, it's not going to cut it. If you think you found one, get it graded by a professional like PCGS or NGC. Otherwise, it's just another penny. Now, let's have a little reality check. What are the actual chances of finding one? Slim. Like winning the lottery while being struck by lightning. Slim. But hey, Someone's gotta win, right? Might as well be you. So, should you start flipping over every penny you see? Absolutely. It costs nothing but a little bit of your time, and who knows? You could be sitting on $1 million payday without even realizing it. Before you rush off to dump out your piggy bank, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more videos on coins worth serious cash and the strategies to find them. And hey, if you do find a 1977 no mint mark penny, don't forget who told you about it first. Maybe send me a thank you card, or, just the penny. All right, folks, grab your magnifying glasses and get ready, because today we're talking about a tiny coin that could make a massive difference in your bank account. That's right, the 2017 D. Lincoln penny. You might have one of these hiding in your pocket change, and if it's the rare one we're talking about today, it could be worth up to $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.4 million for a penny. Before you start flipping over every penny in your couch cushions, let me tell you why this particular penny is so special. But first, a quick story. A buddy of mine, we'll call him Dave, was at a gas station, digging through his cup holder for exact change. He hands the cashier a handful of coins, and this guy behind him in line suddenly yells, "Wait, that's a rare penny." Long story short, Dave's "just a penny" turned out to be worth a small fortune. If that's not a reason to start checking your pocket change, I don't know what is. Now, let's get into it. The 2017 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as you can tell by the little D under the year. Normally, these pennies are as common as dad jokes at Thanksgiving, but a few were struck with a major error that makes them incredibly valuable. Some of these pennies were double-die errors, meaning the design was accidentally stamped twice, creating a blurry or doubled effect. Others had a misalignment issue, making them look slightly off-center. First, you're going to need a good magnifying glass, or if you want to feel extra fancy, a jeweler's loupe. Look at Lincoln's eye, the lettering, and the date. If you see doubling, misalignment, or any unusual marks, you might be holding onto a jackpot. Now, let's talk money. One of these 2017 D. Lincoln pennies recently sold at auction for a whopping $1.4 million. Imagine that someone out there became a millionaire because they took a second look at their change. And even if yours isn't the $1 million version, some of these error pennies are still fetching thousands of dollars on the market. Condition matters. A beat-up, pocket-worn penny isn't going to pull in the big bucks, but if yours is in mint condition or even just lightly circulated, you could still be looking at a life-changing amount of money. So if you find one, don't just throw it in your piggy bank, get it professionally graded and authenticated. All right, so what should you do next? First, check your change. Second, spread the word. Tell your friends, your family, even that one neighbor who always mows his lawn at 6 a.m. because knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also potentially a lot of money. And hey, if you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're always on the hunt for the next big coin discovery, and who knows, maybe next time, it'll be your story we're talking about. So hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found anything valuable in your spare change. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, maybe looking for some spare change for a vending machine snack, and you pull out a penny. But not just any penny, a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? That little copper beauty could be worth $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.5 million. That's a house, a few cars, and probably a lifetime supply of pizza. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you've ever touched, let's break down why this specific penny is worth more than most people's retirement accounts. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might just become the next millionaire, all thanks to pocket change. So, what makes the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special? First, let's talk about the no mint mark part. Normally, when you flip over a coin, you'll see a little letter near the date, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1967, the U.S. Mint did something a little different. To discourage coin hoarding, they left off mint marks entirely the year. That means every penny from 1967 technically doesn't have a mint mark. But not all of them are worth a fortune. Now, here's where things get juicy. The reason this particular penny is worth $1.5 million is because of a rare error, an off-metal strike, meaning it was accidentally made on a silver planchet instead of the usual copper one. This is like ordering a cheeseburger and somehow getting a gold-plated filet mignon instead. Let's do a little backstory break. A few years ago, I was sorting through a big jar of pennies, the kind we all have sitting on a dresser somewhere. I was on the hunt for a 1943 copper penny, which, by the way, is another jackpot coin. I was so focused, squinting at each penny like a detective, that I didn't even notice my dog had snuck up and knocked over the entire jar. Pennies everywhere. My dog, happy as ever, started sliding across the floor like it was the Olympics. Me? I was picking up pennies for 2 hours. Sadly, no $1 million fines that day. But hey, it just goes to show, you never know where a valuable penny might be hiding. Back to the 1967 penny. The reason this specific off-metal strike happened is because the U.S. Mint was transitioning from silver coins to clad coins around that time. Every now and then, a silver blank would sneak into the wrong machine, and boom, you've got yourself a one-of-a-kind error.so. How do you know if you've got the golden ticket? Silver penny? First, check the weight. A regular 1967 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is closer to 2.5 grams, it might just be the real deal. Next, the old-fashioned magnet test. Copper pennies aren't magnetic, but if your penny sticks to a magnet, it's definitely not a standard issue. And, of course, the best way to confirm is to take it to a professional coin grader. Now, let's talk about market value. In recent auctions, this rare 1967 no-mint mark silver penny has sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Why? Because serious collectors love error coins, especially ones that aren't supposed to exist. It's like finding a secret menu item at your favorite restaurant, except this one is life-changing money.so. My friends, next time you find a penny, don't just toss it aside or let it gather dust in a jar. Flip it over, check the date, weigh it, and who knows? You might just be holding a $1 million mistake in the palm of your hand. And if you do find one, just promise me you won't let your dog knock it under the couch. If you love learning about rare coins and how to turn pocket change into serious cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more hidden treasure tips coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Alright, folks, picture this. You're sifting through your pocket change, maybe looking for a lucky penny, and you spot an ordinary 2008 Lincoln penny. But what if I told you that plain-looking coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? Yep, that's not a typo. 1.6 million. For a penny. You might be thinking, come on, how can a modern penny be worth more than my house? Well, today we're diving into the mysterious and incredibly valuable 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's commanding a fortune, and how you might have one hiding in your loose change. But first, if you love finding hidden treasures in your coins, hit that subscribe button because I drop money-making coin tips every week. Alright, let's talk pennies and paydays. Okay, let's break this down. Most 2008 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The ones from Philly don't have a mint mark, which is usually no big deal. But here's where things get wild. There's a small batch of these pennies with a serious minting error that makes them ultra-rare and worth a life-changing amount of money. What makes this penny worth $1.60 million? So, what's so special about this particular 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Turns out, a few of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they weren't made from the typical copper-plated zinc, but instead from a super-rare experimental metal mix. That mistake makes these coins astronomically valuable. To add to the hype, these error coins have a distinct doubling effect on some of the letters and Lincoln's features, making them easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. Now, don't go flipping over your couch cushions just yet. There are a few key things to check before calling the bank and quitting your job. No mint mark. It should be completely blank where the mint mark usually is, a slightly different color or shine. These error coins have a unique tint doubling on the date, the word Liberty. Or Lincoln's eye, it feels slightly heavier or lighter than a normal penny. If you think you've got a winner, take it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and tell you if you just hit the jackpot. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at a gas station, and the cashier handed me change. I wasn't even thinking about coins at the time, but I noticed one penny looked a little different. It was a 2008 no-mint mark. My heart nearly stopped. I thought, could this be the one? I rushed home, pulled out my magnifying glass, and examined every inch of that coin. Turns out, it was just a regular old penny. My dreams of early retirement? Shattered. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it. The market value and why it's skyrocketing now. Let's talk money. One of these rare pennies sold at auction for a mind-blowing $1.6 million. Why so much? Well, rarity is key. When only a handful of rare coins exist, collectors will pay crazy money to get their hands on them. And as more collectors enter the game, prices just keep going up. Even if you don't find the million-dollar version, other 2008 penny heirs can be worth anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s. So it's always worth checking your change. So what have we learned today? Always check your pennies because that loose change in your pocket might just be your ticket to financial freedom. The 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is living proof that even the most ordinary coins can turn into extraordinary paydays. Now, before you go dumping your piggy bank onto the floor, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on finding coins worth serious money. And if you've ever found an unusual or rare penny, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Hey, coin hunters, have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if one of these pennies is worth a fortune? Well, today, we're talking about a tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire, the legendary 1962 D. Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. One little penny, and you could be set for life. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth over $1 million? That's gotta be a joke. But trust me, this is no joke. In fact, this rare coin has collectors losing their minds and emptying their piggy banks just to get their hands on one. So, stick around as we dive deep into what makes this penny so valuable, how to identify if you have one, and of course, how you can turn your spare change into serious cash. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, digging through an old coffee can filled with random coins. The lady running the sale was like, "Oh, just take the whole thing for $5. Being the coin geek that I am, I couldn't resist. Fast forward to me sitting at home, sorting through the pile, and I spot a weird-looking penny. It wasn't a 1962 D, but it was an older wheat penny that ended up selling for a couple $100. Not bad for a $5 investment, right? And that's why you should always check your coins. You never know what you might find. All right, so what makes this little guy worth more than a luxury car? The 1962 D. Lincoln penny became a legend due to a rare minting error. Experts believe it was struck on the wrong metal planchet, possibly silver or an experimental alloy. Combine that with the fact that it has a very crisp, distinct doubling on the lettering, and you've got a unicorn in the world of coin collecting. Only a handful of these pennies exist, and the last time one surfaced, it sold for $1.7 million at auction. That's right, someone paid almost $2 million for a penny. Talk about a solid return on investment. Now, let's get into the details so you can start checking your change like a pro. The D mint mark under the year means it was struck in Denver. Most 1962 D pennies are copper, but the rare one might have a silvery tint or a slightly different weight. A jeweler's scale can help. The valuable version has strong doubling, especially on In God We Trust and Liberty. Condition matters. If your penny is in great shape, meaning no major scratches, dents, or corrosion, it could be worth even more. Okay, so let's say you check your change and find a 1962 D penny that looks a little odd. Don't clean it whatever you do. Do not scrub it, polish it, or try to make it shinier. That can ruin the value instantly. A normal 1962 D penny weighs 3.11 grams. If yours is significantly different, you might have something special. Take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks can authenticate and grade your coin, giving it official status. If it turns out to be the real deal, get ready for a wild ride. High-end auction houses like Heritage Auctions specialize in rare coins and can get you top dollar. Even if you don't have the 1962 D jackpot, don't lose hope. There are plenty of other valuable pennies floating around, like the 1943 copper penny worth 6 figures, or the 1955 double die that's a collector's dream. Every coin in your change could be hiding a little treasure. You just have to know what to look for. All right, my fellow coin collectors and treasure hunters, that's a wrap on the $1 million 1962 D. Lincoln penny. Who knew a single cent could be worth more than a mansion? Now, before you run off to dig through your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm always dropping insider tips on rare coins, money-making strategies, and how to turn your pocket change into real wealth. And hey, If you find anything cool in your collection, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. You're digging through some loose change, maybe looking for a vending machine snack, and boom, you're holding on to a penny worth nearly 2 million bucks. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it's not just some fairy tale. The 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is real. It's out there. And someone out there is holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. Could that someone be you? Stick around, because today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about this elusive, mind-blowing, and oh-so-valuable coin. Now, before we dive into the juicy details, let me hit you with a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market. You know, the kind where you can find everything from rusty tools to those weird ceramic clown figurines. I was digging through a bin of junk coins, and an older gentleman next to me picked up a handful of pennies, squinted at one, chuckled, and tossed it back. My coin-loving heart nearly stopped. Because guess what? That penny had no mint mark. I snatched it up faster than my uncle at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Sadly, it wasn't the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, but it taught me a valuable lesson. People overlook coins all the time. So what makes this 1991 no-mint Mark penny so special? Let's break it down. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, but in 1991, all pennies were supposed to have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. If you happen to find one without a mint mark, congrats, you may have just hit the jackpot. Experts believe this happened due to a minting error, possibly a transitional die issue. That means the coin press accidentally used a blank die that was never supposed to be in circulation. These errors are extremely rare, which is exactly why collectors are willing to drop insane amounts of money to get their hands on one. One of these rare beauties was recently auctioned for a whopping $1.8 million. Can you imagine buying a soda with a penny only to find out later that it was worth enough to buy a mansion? I'd be crying into my empty soda cup. But before you start raiding your piggy banks, let's talk about how to identify this coin. First, check the date. 1991 is the magic number. Next, look right under the date for a mint mark. If there's nothing there, hold on to that coin like it's a winning lottery ticket. But don't celebrate just yet. You'll need to get it authenticated. I highly recommend sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify if it's the real deal and assign it a grade, which affects its value. And hey, let's talk about condition. A scratched up, beat up penny might still be worth something, but if your coin is in pristine, mint state condition, that's where the big bucks come in. That $1 million penny? It was graded MS 67, meaning it was almost flawless. So, if you find one, handle it with care, maybe even whisper sweet nothings to it. Now, if you don't have one, don't be discouraged. There are still tons of valuable pennies out there waiting to be discovered. Think about it. People use cash less and less these days, which means old coins sit around in drawers, change jars, and grandpa's sock drawer just waiting for someone like you to recognize their worth. So, are you checking your pennies yet? If not, you should be. The next time you get a handful of change at the grocery store or find an old coin jar, give those pennies a second look. That little copper coin could be the key to life-changing money. And if you want to stay ahead of the game, learning all the ins and outs of valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be here, bringing you the best tips, tricks, and discoveries in the world of coin collecting. Who knows? Maybe the next time you tune in, it'll be your coin that's worth a fortune. All right, folks, buckle up because today, we're talking about a tiny coin that's packing a $1 million punch. That's right, the 2001 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a little copper treasure that could be sitting in your pocket or, more likely, at the bottom of your couch cushions, gathering dust next to a lost TV remote. But here's the kicker. This 1-cent coin recently sold for a mind-blowing $1.90 million. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, I've got pennies from 2001. Should I start cashing out? Well, my friend, hold on to your magnifying glass because we're about to dive deep into what makes this penny so special, how to tell if you've got one, and how you can turn pocket change into life-changing money. So first off, let's talk about the basics. The 2001 penny we all know and love features the classic profile of Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's where things get juicy. This particular penny is missing something crucial. It has no mint mark, which means it wasn't made at any of the usual U.S. mint locations. Now, you might be wondering, big deal, so it's missing a little letter? But in the world of coin collecting, that tiny detail is like a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, except instead of candy, you get stacks of cash. The absence of a mint mark means that this penny is an ultra-rare error coin. Experts believe only a few of these exist, making it one of the most sought-after modern pennies out there. When it was discovered, collectors went into a frenzy and bids skyrocketed until someone shelled out nearly $2 million for it. That's a lot of Lincoln heads for one Lincoln head. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, sifting through an old tin of coins a guy was selling for $1 a piece. As a coin enthusiast, I couldn't resist. I picked out a handful, took them home, and started inspecting them. And guess what? I found a 1983 double-die penny worth a couple $1,000. Ever since that day, I never overlook a pile of coins again. The point is, treasures are out there. You just have to know what to look for. So, how do you know if you have a 2001 no-mint mark penny worth nearly $2 million? Look for a 2001 penny that's missing the little letter under the date. No D for Denver, no P for Philadelphia, nothing at all. Make sure it's not a worn-down mint mark. It should be completely absent, not just faded. The coin should be in exceptional condition. The better the grade, the higher the value. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. You don't want to be the person who sells $1 million coin for $1 at a yard sale. Trust me, that regret lasts a lifetime. So, my friends, before you toss those pennies into the tip jar or leave them stranded in your car cup holder, give them a second look. You never know when you might be holding onto a small fortune. And if you do find one of these rare 2001 no-mint mark pennies, well, let's just say you might want to start planning your dream vacation. Or maybe just buy a really fancy coin album. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on turning your pocket change into serious cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. I've got tons of insider coin collecting strategies, tips, and stories that you won't want to miss. Now, go check your pennies, and if you find a rare one, don't forget who told you first.